We had promised Mr. Mandela a year before for his birthday he would build 100 homes and with Habitat for Humanity at Orange Farm. You can see the condition. Most of these people had lived in cardboard boxes with no water, no electricity for 30 years. And so some of these families, the first time they ever saw electricity or ever lived in a home. And this is what helped turn these young kids around. They turned their lives around. Now they're productive citizens in Los Angeles and great examples and role models. In 10 days, they turned around. And I was very happy because it taught me a lot. And great examples and role models they became, showing others that it's possible to live and get to be my age. Oh my God. It's not bad. Here are a couple of the South Central kids today. Here's what happened.
Omari Trice is now a program director at a charter school.
As a person of color from South Central, it makes you think that you can do it. It can be done. You know, he did it as a living example.
Hector Sanchez is director of a community center.
I have a lot of friends that are incarcerated right now. This opportunity gave me the chance to realize that there's other ways.
The more we can make things right in the world, the better the world's going to be. And that's why we all stay engaged, because together we can do a lot of things that we can never do alone.
Omari Trice is now a program director at a charter school.
As a person of color from South Central, it makes you think that you can do it. It can be done. You know, he did it as a living example.
Hector Sanchez is director of a community center.
I have a lot of friends that are incarcerated right now. This opportunity gave me the chance to realize that there's other ways.
The more we can make things right in the world, the better the world's going to be. And that's why we all stay engaged, because together we can do a lot of things that we can never do alone. If you don't care who gets the credit, you can get anything done. Over the past couple of months, I've received dozens of protest letters from many, many groups here and abroad begging me to boycott the Beijing Olympics. The pressure from all directions has been extremely immense, but it's not my intention for 1 minute to withdraw from the Olympics, and it's just not my style, because I care too much about Darfur and I care too much about China, and I can stay in the game with others like us. I feel we can make a difference together. People in this room. I also believe that boycotting the Olympics could isolate China and the United States. And that could make the situation worse. The world will be safer if we address human rights as part of a world community. This is one world now with communications. I go everywhere in the world. In the last year and a half, I've traveled the entire world 3 times, 500,000 miles in the Middle East, everywhere. Most cities, I can't tell what city I'm in, because we go to clubs at night, the cell phone comes out. I don't care where you are. You know, in Xi'an, Rio, Estonia, Cairo, wherever, it's the same. The hip huggers, you know, all the girls have the hip huggers and the flip-flops and the tennis shoes on. You cannot even tell, and the music is the same. So the togetherness is already there. It's just a question of all of us in this army to make sure that we keep marching and get everybody else on the right track. It has been my experience that you can never expect a difficult situation to change by demanding it. Nor can the United States or any other nation be self-righteous and tell people what to do when they have not been a responsible player on human rights nor walked the talk. And I love my country very, very much. As we say in the hood, people who live in glass cribs should not throw stones. You know what cribs are? That goes back to beboppers. When I first went to New York, the beboppers started a lot of the language that the hip-hop people use now. All my kids are into it now, and they think it's brand new, like homeboy. Lester Young was calling Basie homeboy 70 years ago. And I remember my first day in New York, junkie, to be honest. A lot of beboppers were junkies. Came to my room, this little raggedy hotel I was staying at, says, "Hey, bros, can I stash my axe in your crib for a few ticks while I go cop me a few Z's?" I didn't know what he was talking about. Then I started talking like that. My journey in life began on the south side of Chicago, the biggest black ghetto in America, 5 million black people during the Great Depression in the 1930s. So I know what's up, and I can identify with people who lived in slums and poverty. I've got switchblade cuts here, ice pick in my head. I've been down there. And the epidemic of drugs, not only in the United States, but all over the world. I saw immense poverty and homeless people in Rio when I was there in 1956. There's this great Brazilian lyricist, and we'd call him the poet laureate like Stevie Wonder, Vinicius de Moraes, who wrote Morning of the Carnival for Black Orpheus, millions of songs of Jobim. This is the guy who used to have me out all night drinking caipirinha. You know, that's a great cachaça sugar drink that sneaks up on you. It must be about 3,000 proof. Put me to bed at 5:30 and wake me up at 5:45. Man was 70 years old. But he told me and took me down to this area and said, Quincy, one day this will be the scourge of Brazil. And he was prophetic because that was the first favela. And that's why I'm committed to try to reverse the cycles that permeate Rios and Sao Paulo and define its slums, which are called favelas, as I said before. Next year, we're producing a film about the carnival in 3D and high definition. There's nothing more spectacular in the world. I don't know how many people have been to Carnival in Rio. The profits from the movies will benefit the favelas and the Katrina victims in New Orleans. We're taking musicians from Mississippi and New Orleans down there. Our foundation, Project Q, has also been involved in building hospitals and adopting families in sections of Angkor Wat in Cambodia. I've met so many dedicated people who are making this world a better place, like you people in this room. As a way of shining a light on their achievement, they've inspired us to present an annual Q Prize. In partnership with Harvard University Foundation, Jay Winston, Chris Stamos of Sterling Stamos, and with Colin Powell's foundation, America's Promise, which I was the co-chairman of while he was in office, the Q Prize is given annually to the person who we consider that did the most for peace that year. Last year, the recipient was Scott Neeson, who's from Scotland and came to America to become executive vice president of Fox Films. Big films. I was like he worked with the Titanic. And when he saw what was happening in Cambodia on television, he left his cushy job, all of the private planes, got rid of all of his materialism, and went over to Cambodia to run one of the hospitals over there to help these kids. And we'll be announcing this year's winner soon. Stay tuned, because I'm very happy we're involved in this. A few years ago, I was introduced to a man named Hani Masri from Nablus, and Yuri Severa. It was a Palestinian and an Israeli who were best friends. That was a great start, and they asked me to be the third partner in a project we were going to put together called We Are the Future. It was dedicated to helping the kids and start to build a foundation for the kids from the most in conflict and poor cities in the world who are being deprived of their God-given right to a family, to good health, to an education, and to hope. We owe every child in this world